It's been a long time, huh, guys? Well, maybe just we skipped a week for obvious reasons, but we're back again for another episode reviews for this time the Casagrandes. So, hello everyone. For those who are watching on our Twitch, thank you very much for checking out our stream. My name is Data. Going to my right side is obviously Omid. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. What is up, Loud Crowded Casa Crew? Hope y'all doing good these past couple weeks. And it is good to be back. It is good to be doing this like after a week off due to, like Nate said, obvious reasons.
Yeah. Apologies for last week, considering what happened. To say the least, if we were gonna go live last week, I would not be okay. You would see me in a really bad state. So that's why I was like, okay, we gotta cancel just because it was all gonna go downhill if I'm going to be live for sure.
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand. Like mental health and well-being always come first at the end of the day.
No doubt, and thank you all for understanding. It's just been hard, especially during work right now. So, things do kind of fall apart. That's the reason why I'm kind of like I had to have this week off so that I can actually recuperate myself. But everything's all back to normal, so I'm assuming everything's all good. Hopefully, nothing really bad happens. But anyways, let's get things going with our weekly checkup. We missed out for 2 weeks. So, Meet, how have you been these last couple weeks?
These past couple weeks have actually been quite fun for me. Of course, we're going to talk about a particular weekend that we had, which is Crunchyroll Expo in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what happened 2 weeks ago. And then the past weekend, a friend of mine came over and we stayed over and binge watched what I consider to be my favorite K drama, Extraordinary Attorney
Oh,
Woo. Absolutely love
okay.
it. I adore it.
Is that good? Is it really that good?
It's awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't know just because I haven't seen it. Not a fan of K dramas. I'm sorry, except for Squid Game. Squid Game was the only one I ended up checking out. So yeah.
Like I've seen a few. Like I've seen four: Extraordinary Attorney Woo, Squid Game, Kingdom, and A Taiwan Class. I love them all, but Extraordinary Attorney Woo is my favorite one because of the autism spectrum disorder representation.
Oh, so
And
there's a reason why, because you're relating to her.
yeah, pretty much like it's pretty much a. I know it's sort of a bias on my part, but if you take that away, it's really funny, it's really clever, and the character herself is just so lovable.
Thank you. Okay, okay. I don't know. I mean, I'll go check it out. I have a lot of shows to catch up on, anime wise, cartoon wise, and a whole lot of other things. So I don't know if I can actually like caught up on your show to say.
I feel I got a pretty long watch list myself, so I totally understand. I totally get it.
Yeah, not much for me on my end. It's just been work throughout the whole time. Last week, I took some time off, watched the movie. Actually, watched the DC League of Super Pets, and that actually was a pretty good movie. Not bad. A lot of big references. If you're a huge DC fan, you're definitely going to love this movie for sure. But yeah, I would say really funny. If you love DC superhero pets, go ahead and watch that.
I
But
saw
yeah,
it.
that was it.
I
That
haven't
was
seen
all.
it.
That was my weekend last. That was my weekend last weekend. But yeah, it was just a chill weekend considering that the freaking pressure that happened the last week. Anyways, we do want to actually bring up what happened 2 weeks ago because we ended up attending a big convention called Crunchyroll Expo 2022. And I'm sorry
Yes.
for all the fans who are watching right now, but we're gonna show off a little bit of what happened at CRX. So, um, you know what's kind of crazy? Crunchyroll Expo was actually what would you say better than 2019 or 2022 was? I don't know. For me, I
I
thought it was lackluster.
It's just about the same for me, but then again, the difference is that CRX 2019, I went there the whole weekend, whereas CRX 2022, I just went there for one day.
But besides that, I mean, do you feel like the con wasn't really that good compared to like previous cons?
Um, it's not really something I've noticed. I thought Crunchy City looked nice. The
Mm.
guests were, I mean, the guest list was pretty cool.
Did you go?
I got to,
Did you go in 2019 though?
we both went in 2019, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Like,
But okay, so my thing is that things look much better in the city, um, 2019, considering that there's so much like things popping up in Dealers Hall, Artist Alley, that area. Plus, the Music Fest area is so small. Like, I was able to watch Sim, but in a packed crowd like that, it's just absolutely like small. I can't be able to do that. Remember the concert we went to where we watched Flow?
I know
That
that
should
was
have
awesome.
been where the concert is, but they moved it to a smaller room, and I'm like, how can you perform in a big crowd like that? I don't know. I didn't find it helpful. So I was my little lackluster moment. I understand people who love Hololive. I'm a huge fan myself too. I love Guru Gara, and I ended up actually meeting up with her. So I was really happy actually getting a one-on-one interview with Guru Gara. So it's like, oh, can we talk about what game you love to stream? I know you love to stream Mario Kart 8. Can I recommend you some games too, like Mario Party? I want you to play against Ame and the rest of the English Hololive crew. That'll be like mayhem in a stream. But yeah, it was just awesome talking to her for only like 5 minutes. Yes, it did cost money, but to be fair, it was fun. It was still the best part in CRX. Besides that, Artist Alley was great. I loved everything in the Artist Alley. Dealers Hall, little lackluster. I thought there were more stores, more like big pop-up stores that will pop up in CRX. The concerts were great. I only went to watch Sim. I didn't watch the Burnout Syndromes. I was too busy on Sunday shopping, so I couldn't be able to watch Burnout Syndromes at the end. But yeah, CRX, little lackluster in 2022, but I still had an enjoyable time. Hopefully next year will be better.
Yeah, hopefully too. Like I had an enjoyable time myself. Another friend of mine and I, not the one who came over last weekend, but this other friend of mine, we roamed around Deer's Heart Artist Alley. We also checked out Crunchy City, of course. It looked beautiful. And I went to this Crunchyroll industry panel. It was pretty hype. And best of all, I met the one and only Zeno Robinson.
Yeah, that's right. We got some guests that we actually need to talk about too. Zeno Robinson, Adam MacArthur, Ann Yakto, of course, all of the Hololive crew. Yeah, a lot of guests actually. That actually made up most of Crunchyroll Expo, which I not gonna lie, it was really awesome just to see Zeno Robinson, plus doing poses and stuff with him too.
Yes, I got what I came for. Okay, here I gotta show you this.
Oh, okay. We're showing stuff now. Okay. Oh, look at that. See.
Class gather around class. It's time for show and tell. Class, it's time for show and tell.
Nice.
Class, it's time for show and tell. Look what I brought, teacher. It's a poster signed by Zeno Robinson.
Flapjack.
Yes. Best boy in Owl House, by the way. Best boy,
okay,
right?
Okay. I thought you were pointing at Flapjack as best boy. I also did get an autograph from Zeno Robinson, but at the same time, I actually ended up getting 2 autographs because I actually won a raffle to get a free autograph from Zeno, and then I ended up also buying an autograph because he was selling autographs too, and I needed to buy something that people never realize that he voices. So again, I'll show off again here. So I ended up buying.
Cricket, I went to Crunchyroll Expo, Cricket.
So I ended up buying a Remy Remington poster from Zeno, and I asked him, "Do people know that you're Remy Remington?" And he said, like, "Yeah, people know me as Remy." The thing is that I think people know him more in Pokemon compared to Big City Greens, because Pokemon is very popular. Obviously, he also is the voice of a character in Pokemon Journeys. So, yeah, I actually need to get this one out just considering the fact that nobody knows about Remy. And nobody knows about Big City Green, so I need to say, "Hey, I love your show, Big City Green." So I got to get an autograph from Red Remington.
Big City Greens is criminally underrated, and I'll never see otherwise. Like, I'll die on top of the hill. Big City Greens is criminally underrated. It deserves all the love it gets. And also another thing too is that like a lot of people know him for Hawks too. So
yeah, and that's the thing that I got from this autograph. See, Hawks and Zeno Robinson right there. Yeah, that's a free one, by the way. That. I ended up getting since I won a raffle too, so that was the awesome thing there. Besides Zeno, anything else did you actually get autographs for, or was that all?
So since I wasn't able to get any free autographs, like I only had to purchase autographs in order to get them. Unfortunately, I had to stick with just not only an autograph of Zeno Robinson, but also I took a picture with Zeno Robinson as well.
Nice. So you had to pay for that too, and it's like it's gonna continue to pile up with more money if that's the case.
So Honestly, I wish I could have like met more of these guests, but unfortunately, I gotta save money for a particularly big convention we're going to. So
Yep,
yeah,
D23. That's coming up next month actually. So we can't
yes,
wait for that.
let's
I'm
go.
surprised. Me, did you not see the voice of May from Turning Red? She was there too.
I did too. Like, honestly, that's what I mean. I wanted to get autograph and picture with her too. But the thing is,
Mm.
though, is that one, I have to pay, and also the fact that my friend and I were already having dinner and walking around, so I couldn't really get there on time. So
So what happened is the fact that when Rosalie Chang was doing her autographs, it was like literally right after Zito Robinson's, and me and my friend Jessica, our friend Jessica, we wanted to obviously meet up with Rosalie because obviously she was an awesome voice actress as May from Turning Red, the awesome movie from Pixar. So what I did was that okay. So the thing is, like, I hate what they do is that they want to do autographs versus pictures. So like, if you want to get an autograph, it's like this much. If you want to get an autograph and a picture, it's this much. And I'm like, dude, this is way too much now. I'm just gonna get an autograph. So I ended up getting a Rosalie Chang autograph. So that's an
oh,
awesome
that's so
little
cute.
thing about her. So yeah, Rosalie, thank you for coming to CRX. We love you as May from Turning Red for sure.
Oh man, that is so cute. Like honestly, I hope she comes to D23 Expo.
I hope so because yeah, Turning Red's an amazing movie. I'm not expecting a sequel to be fair.
Yeah, honestly, I think that Turning Red is good as a standalone movie, but I'm definitely open to a sequel or maybe even a sequel series, just
Hmm.
by the simple fact that like the the guy is now part of the group. Like that one
Right,
guy.
right. Yeah, the gun guy is part of the group, right? So let's talk about other autographs that I ended up getting. If you all love the show Jujutsu Kaisen, the English voice actors are there. So I wanted to show this off. I ended up winning a raffle for this. So I have the voice actors of was it frick. I totally missing out on like all the characters' names for Jujutsu Kaisen, but this is awesome. Just like the fact that like the main character plus the female lead, and then like I think the main guy here, yeah, Gojo, yeah, here we go. So yeah, if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, no doubt about it, you're this definitely was awesome. For free by the way, because I ended up winning a raffle. So awesome, CRX, thank you for that. And last but not least, the English voice actor for Kuji, I forgot his name, but it's voiced by Adam MacArthur. If you don't know Adam MacArthur, he also was the voice of Marco Diaz from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Obviously,
It's not criminal to be an individual.
that's what it
That
says here,
guy.
by the way. That's what it says here, by the way. See?
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I ended up getting a red, was it a Blood Moon Ball picture from Adam MacArthur. By the way, this was a free one, but I had to pay for this one just because he's like, okay, yeah, you know what? I got to do it just because this is an awesome picture.
Yeah, nice man.
But besides that, I also did up getting merchandise. I don't know if you ended up getting some merch as well, or
I actually did. So pretty much what I did was I got two of the I got two posters actually, two artworks. Check this out.
nice. Ooh, really anime-ish on the Avatar: The Last
A-
Airbender characters.
Avatar, if it was a '90s anime. Same thing
And
with
then
this.
another one. Okay, so you end up getting the sisters too. By the way, my shout outs to my friends who ended up cosplaying the sisters too.
Well, more like they're not really like sisters. They're more like the Fire Girls, like the
Mm,
Azula and her friends, Azula and her BFFs. Yeah.
right, right. Sorry, I don't know. They just call fire sisters in this case.
And another thing too is that I also got this
Oh, Futaba, nice.
Food Tops, baby, Food Tops.
Futaba, nice,
My new
nice.
sticker.
Okay,
Futaba's best Persona girl.
awesome, awesome. Now the thing is that I'm gonna go. I don't want to go through all my art, my whole list of artworks because it's gonna be a lot. I didn't buy any prints. I ended up getting like some stickers and pins, so awesome with that. But if you haven't noticed, there's a new person that is joining our plushie crew behind us. By the way, it's a lot of plushies behind us. There's a new plushie that's coming to the crew. I don't know if you actually noticed this person, but below us. You don't know, huh?
I don't
It's
think I can see it.
Toru
Yes,
from Miss
Toru.
Kobayashi.
Nice. Oh my god, Toru, nice.
Toru from Miss
Yeah,
Kobayashi. So
yeah. Before you pulled her
I
out,
ended up getting you.
yeah, honestly, before you pulled her out, all I could see like was the top of her head. That was it. But now that you pull it out, I was like, oh man, it's Toru.
Yeah, the top of her head. I was thinking the horns would actually be the one that actually make you notice that she's there.
I didn't see the horns that well. I just saw the head.
Yeah, but Toru is now. I ended up buying this just because I didn't see Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid stuff anywhere. So it's like awesome. Yeah, I ended up getting like Netsuberries of this. So awesome that this is not part of the collection. Plus, I also did end up getting there's a Kana one too, but I didn't want to buy it. I was like either Toru or Kana. I like Toru more. And if you like Kana, you're a sick pervert.
Yeah, Toru's the way to go. Like I'm gonna build a Toru deck on November.
All right, when it comes to what is it? I will put it up later, by the way. Oh, and the other thing too about the weekend checkup, I totally forgot. We gotta give a shout out to one of the artists that were selling out these plushies. Amphibia fans will definitely love this. I know Mead would.
Yes.
Marcy. I ended up getting a Marcy plushie.
You have Barbar. You have Barbar.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't look. The artist. They said that they were selling plushies, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll buy one. So there you go. There's a little Marcy plushie.
Yo, I got me one of these, man.
Damn. I know. I'm like, are you a person that you should have known? Like there were like, I don't know. Maybe you're not into the Amphibia fandom as much, but there were so many artists that were selling out like these like fan art plushies, and I really wanted this one just because Marcy.
Bro, like you're definitely more on the lookout. Like you're like pretty much on the lookout for all these Amphibia fan artists and all that stuff. And it's like I can't keep track of all the Amphibia.
I know. Amphibia Frog Twitter is just way too crazy, to say the least. You're gonna be in hell with a lot of the Amphibia stuff they have over there.
And before you ask, see, Loud House is different. Like Loud House, we know a lot of fan artists online, and also just the fact that we're prominent people from the Loud House fandom. So yeah.
Different. So yeah, I mean, these plushies are awesome. Thank you very much, artist. I forgot the name, but he's from Chile, by the way, and he shipped it out from Chile to the United States. And I'm like, man, I gotta support you because your plushie is actually pretty cool. I don't know if it's the same guy who actually made those like drawings of plushies coming up soon, but nice. Yeah, I'm really wanting this Marcy just because it looks pretty cute. So yeah.
Yo, I want that Marmar.
Marcy's coming over there this way.
Yo, how could you have my favorite, girl at the trio? It's like, why don't you get Anne instead? Anne's your favorite.
He didn't have any Annes. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
He didn't have any Annes, so it's like, I need Marcy just because Marcy.
No, man.
What did you say?
Yo, Marcy should be with me, man. How much should I pay you, man? It's like she for sale or something.
No, too late. It's not for sale.
Maybe next time. Time.
Just check around Frog Twitter. You'll probably see her. But yeah. Okay, let's actually go. Okay, so we've got our show and tell for Crunchyroll Expo. So let's go ahead and move on to our episode reviews. I know you've been waiting for this for so long, but yeah, it's time for us to actually start our episode reviews. So let's start off with the first episode that came out on July 8th called Sidekickin Chicken. Synopsis here says, after hearing a contest to find El Falcon's next sidekick, Carl becomes El Pollito and tries to win. So first off, the episode starts with Carl excitedly watching El Falcon, and then the show announces this whole make a sidekick contest in which the winner will be the sidekick of El Falcon. Obviously, Carl wants to be determined to become that sidekick and becomes El Falcon. I mean, El Pollito as what he wanted to be as the sidekick. So what are your thoughts here about Carl trying his best to become the next sidekick for El Falcon?
Yeah. So let's all talk about the 1 millionth episode of Carl in the Casagrandes, shall we? Let's delve into it. Now, Carl becoming, I do like, Carl's, where they continue Carl's fascination with El Falcon, and they take it a step further, and they pretty much have him like be so inspired up to a point where he would make his own sidekick character. I like that. I really do like that. And I also really dig his sidekick name, El Pollito, because like it's pretty much a name of a bird character, except smaller than a falcon. So I'm just like, okay, that's really creative. Major props to Carl for creativity.
So, I like the whole fact that El Boyito was the one that, Carl was already talking about. Back in the Dynamic Do-Over, where Carl really wants to be the sidekick to El Falcone, and that El Falcone wants an El Boyito. So, I don't know how it never came up until now that El Falcone needed a sidekick, and then obviously his idea for El Boyito now comes into fruition. So it just tells me like there's a continuity thing happening here where now El Falcone will finally get a sidekick like El Boyito, which Carl was always talking about. So, I mean, as a fan, as Carl is a fan of El Falcone, he obviously was going to go straight to making a costume, trying to become the next sidekick superhero. And yeah, I mean, what do you expect from a fan who's huge into El Falcone?
Yeah, and I do like in the background that you see like Bobby and Ronnie Yan, like they kind of like laying there on the couch. That like Bobby and Ronnie Yan are the casual fans, whereas Carl is like the diehard.
Obviously, he's a
El
diehard
Falcone
fan.
nerd.
I mean,
He's a diehard. He's a diehard El Falcone nerd. Yeah,
exactly. But that's what you get for being an El Falcone fan. So yeah, with Carl, with the help of Sergio, tries to pull on an act for El Boyito for the contest, but he's not the only one entering. Actually, there are two other people that are also entering as well. Alexis as Tuba Boy, and out of all people, Adelaide as Padelaide. So
yes.
this is now a competition between the three of them. How do you like this whole little stiff competition of trying to be the next El Falcone's sidekick with these other sidekicks also in the mix?
Padelaide, Padelaide, Padelaide. Let's go. Woo! Oh man, I love this. I love the inclusion of Adelaide and Alexis in this episode. And it really caught me by surprise because you don't really see Adelaide or Alexis, fanboying over or fangirling over El Falcone up to a point where they would enter the contest as well. So it was kind of surprising to me, to be honest, especially Adelaide, considering she hasn't really watched El Falcone at all. But then I really do like her reasons though, and her reasons is that El Falcone needs strong female characters, and I'm just like Adelaide, please spread this message to every entertainment industry out there. All right, like every entertainment industry needs more Adelaide. Anyway,
I mean,
Padelaide.
I mean, my thing right now is, I do like how they're trying to include Alexis for one thing. That's one thing. I mean, Alexis has definitely needed some more like screen time, and the fact that he's also into becoming a sidekick. So I'm guessing he's also a huge fan of El Falcone. I didn't expect that, and of course, it's weird considering that Adelaide, out of all people, actually watches El Falcone as well. Maybe it's just because Carl and Adelaide hang out with a lot.
Actually,
yeah,
Adelaide...
I guess the influence really has come up for Adelaide to become a sidekick or something. It's interesting for her to become a fan of El Falcone now.
actually, like I said before, like Adelaide doesn't really watch El Falcone. She just entered the contest for female empowerment and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really strong point. I mean, now everybody wants to be like Adelaide. she's a strong
inspiration. She's an inspiration. There you go. Like
yeah, she's an inspiration for like what young like all women to say. So yeah, I do love Padelaide, by the way. So it's just awesome just to see.
Honestly,
yeah.
Forget El Polito. Like I want Padelaide to win this one. Like I'm rooting for Padelaide all the way.
So when you saw all the three of them like competing to be the next sidekick for El Falcone, you obviously wanted to be Adelaide.
Of course. I mean, look at her. She looks so badass. She looks so adorable.
I know. I true. To be fair, like I love all three. Obviously, Carl was like the weakest one out of all of them, but I mean, you gotta give some props out to Alexis and Adelaide too. I mean, I love them all. But yeah, nonetheless, they were still trying to fight for being a sidekick to say. But yeah, after several attempts to film his sidekick persona to make him look good, Adelaide and Carl asked Carl if he got the theme song ready, like she and Alexis did. Then Carl creates his own theme song for El Pollito. What are your thoughts on this little song that he's trying to do? It's like a little West Coast rap that Carl ended up putting out.
All I can say is that Lisa Loud's got some competition. It turns out that Lisa's not the only Lisa Loud's not the only, little kid in the Loud Casa world that could drop a beat. Like it turns out that Carl's got some mics to drop as well. I mean, look at that. I love this song too. It's energetic, it's catchy, and it really does show the energy, the emphasis of Carl desperately wanting to be El Polito and doing whatever he can to get it.
I just like the fact that he continues to follow up with like, oh, I've been hearing Alexis is doing this. I've been hearing Adelaide doing that. So I need to do the same thing as well. So he ended up making a better costume. He ended up getting like a rap song, for example. So I like this. I don't know about everybody's thinking like Carl and Lisa could become a rap battle or something like that. But this is Carl, though.
Yes.
This is what Carl does. Carl does like rap, and he always loves to make music like that. So I'm not surprised that the theme song will be rap, while all the other, like, I would imagine the contestants that were also competing as well had their own theme songs too. But yeah, Carl's great theme song. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Carl, Lisa, epic battles of history.
So here's the thing, Carl. So the thing is, now we have to wait. Obviously, they need to figure out who's going to become the next sidekick for El Falcone. Now, the letters would come into the apartment, and Carl would check the mail, and unfortunately, he did not get it. But yeah, obviously, it breaks his heart. He really wanted to be the sidekick to El Falcone. But fortunately, the other two, Adelaide and Alexis, both were finalists. So they ended up becoming the next sidekicks for El Falcone. Did you feel for Carl when he got rejected, by the way?
Yeah, I totally felt bad for Carl, like, because you could tell that he's the most diehard El Falcone fan of the three, and of course of the entire Loud Cosiverse. So yeah, you can tell, like, oh my god, look at this, Carl. Look at Carl's face. Look at that. This, like, Carl's face right there just screams depression. It screams devastation right there. On the plus side, though, Pandalade is in the final two. Adelaide is in, baby. So there's a little bright side to it, but still, poor Carl.
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel for Carl, just the fact that like he tried his best. He had to have a costume change. He had to get a theme song. He had to do all of this to show off and become the next El Falcone's El Pollito. But to be fair, he wasn't as great compared to the other two. I mean, you look at Alexis, and he did a great job. You see Adelaide and her Pandalade, and she turned out to be really good in her costume and awesome stuff as well. So I'm not surprised that in the end, Alexis and Adelaide both end up becoming the finalists and end up becoming the sidekicks for El Falcone. So, congrats to them, but no doubt about it, I feel so bad for Carl, considering that, look, he's the biggest El Falcone fan ever. And to see him get rejected and not get El Bollito become the sidekick, it makes sense for him to, tear up and cry like that. But yeah, I felt like, definitely, I really feel sad for Carl here. And all the times we've always been hating on Carl, okay? You have to stop it sometimes, okay?
Like, I never hated Carl himself. I just hate the fact that, like, he takes a great chunk out of the Casagrandes episodes, which is especially bad when you consider the fact that Casagrandes is about to end. So we could have gotten more episodes focused on much more other characters, but no, we got to have the wacky misadventures of Carl and Sergio 24/7.
That was all of season 2 mostly, by the way. A lot of Carl and Sergio stuff.
Exactly, that's what I mean. But still, though, regardless of what you may think of Carl, you got to admit, seeing him like that, you just can't help but feel for the guy.
I know. I definitely felt bad for him, especially the fact that he got rejected for a sidekick role. But it is what it is. Adelaide and Alexis would become the next sidekicks. But this is Carl we're talking about, man. Obviously, we'll do whatever it takes to get El Pollito to become the sidekick. And what does he do? Well, let's just say he will do a lot of heroic deeds in order for him to become that sidekick. So explain your thoughts on what's happening here, where Carl is doing whatever it takes to make sure that he becomes that hero, and that they know that the people who make El Falcone definitely did a bad deed, mistaking him becoming the sidekick.
Okay, first I gotta talk about the bodega scene where Carl tries to stop Miranda from supposedly stealing newspapers and all that. Like, honestly, the part that I want to talk about is Bobby. Like, honestly, I never seen Bobby this angry and this annoyed at a customer. Okay, not since the bird has flown. Not since the bird has flown, where we see Bobby this heated up, like since then, where Bobby is pretty much cleaning, and then he's like, seeing Carl making a big mess, and he's like, Carl, what's wrong with you? And I'm just like, yeah, I've been thinking the same thing, Bobby. It's about time you kind of, stepped up and tell him, hey, this is not cool,
I finally got the scene here. It's weird because, like, yeah, Carl was definitely trying to rescue, and the fact that like Miranda was actually stealing paper, he was thinking about stealing newspapers, and then he obviously tried to rescue that, and obviously it was a whole mix. It was a whole mix up where Miranda was the one actually recycling paper instead. So it's like, Carl, you could have not been the hero there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the next scene, by the way, where Sergio was dressed up as a baby, and then Carl had to be the one to rescue Sergio from something that was going to be running over him. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it turns out that Carl is really up in the desperation, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
really up in the desperation.
yeah. This
The
is the
fact,
one thing. This is the one time where I'm like, Carl, dude, just accept the defeat. Don't be like, do whatever it takes to make sure the writers take you back or something.
yeah, I mean, like even if it is Sergio, you're kind of like using him like to kind of supposedly save him so that you can come out as a hero. I'm just like, how desperate can you be? How desperate can you possibly be? Apparently, up to a point where you get yourself hanging in a tree.
Yeah, not really the best work here, by the way. I understand you're desperate, but Carl,
Yeah.
this isn't how you do it. I know that you're trying to be the hero over it all, but yeah, I do like the fact that like Sergio was a baby and all. I'm like, oh man, we had to go to this route where Sergio had to be the one who has to be the damsel in distress, and Carl had to be the one to rescue him.
Oh God. Hey, Carl, how's it hanging?
Oh my god.
How's it
But yeah,
hanging?
so the thing is that the plan for Carl to rescue Sergio would go awry. There's obviously a hot dog cart about to ram through Sergio, but luckily there were some people that were also there to help him out. Adelaide and Tuba Boy actually came to the rescue. After Carl sees this, he realizes he's not fit to be sidekick and apologizes. He hands them the tape so that he can be a part of the show, so that they can be a part of the show instead of him. So, what are your thoughts about Carl's change of heart, especially when Adelaide and Alexis started to become the heroes actually in this?
Well, yeah, of course, in every typical Carl episode, it of course ends with Carl having a change of heart, learning his lesson, learning to be a good boy, lather, rinse, repeat. But what really makes this one of the better what makes this one of the better cases scenario of this is Adelaide and Alexis proving that they're the true heroes instead of Carl, and thus like making Carl realize, okay, so maybe I'm not the hero that El Falcone needs, but rather it's these two that El Falcone needs the most. So I give up. The reward's all yours.
I think I love the fact that in the end that, even if Sergio was definitely like about to be rammed or something like that from a hot dog cart, it's just the fact that like Tuba Boy and Adelaide ended up becoming to the rescue. And I'm like, how out of all people did you just finally see that someone was about to like get rammed over, and then you just come into the rescue and you actually do a really good job. Tuba Boy with his tuba powers and Adelaide with his bamboo powers, and it all ended up with them like celebrating at the end and actually rescuing Sergio. But yeah, in the end though, it definitely was a ruse. I mean, they knew that Sergio was the baby, and then in the end, they obviously Carl had to be the one to apologize and make sure that we get it. Like at least in this point here, we get to see Carl just realize that Adelaide and Adelaide and Alexis are definitely really awesome sidekicks, and that he was going to give up his role of being the sidekick and let them get it. It took him a matter of time, though. I mean, I understand that you want to get revenge for not becoming El Boyito, and then you end up making this kind of stuff, and then in the end, you still end up giving it up. So it's like, okay, I understand, Carl, you're very selfish for one thing, but at the same time, now you realize that, yeah, you don't deserve it, dude.
Yeah, no, you don't. You actually deserve, what's coming to you, and you really do get what's coming to you, but not in the way that we expect. Not in the way that we expect. We're going to touch upon that, shortly.
So yeah, nonetheless, it in the end turns out Adelaide and Tuba Boy, we're going to be we're going to make it as heroes. Sorry, I'll say this. In the end, Adelaide and Tuba Boy are going to become the sidekicks for El Falcone. But another person also did pop in as well. Yeah, El Pollito, but the sidekick of the villain. So nonetheless, it all worked out for everybody in the end. How'd you feel about this ending?
Yeah, it turns out that Carl Reed did get his moment of fame just not the way that he expected. So instead of El Pollito being the sidekick, he's now the villain, and I'm just like, that's actually really symbolic. That actually really does symbolize this entire episode because we know who the heroes are and we know who the villains are. And let me tell you, like these two are the former, while Carl is the latter. So like it kind of like I said, it kind of foreshadows what's to come in El Falcone in a sense.
Like, I thought that it was just going to be Pandalade and Tuba Boy becoming the sidekicks, which you actually get to see in this episode. But the fact that they actually end up getting El Pollito as the villain of the snake guy, for example, I was like, okay, still he still was able to actually make it into the show. So hey, all well that ends well, I guess. I would say this though, a very happy ending. I thought it would be like really sad for Carl to at least accept the fact that he won't be El Falcone's was it sidekick, but to at least be on the show, that's at least something. So it might not be El Falcone's sidekick, but you end up becoming one of the villain sidekick. So in the end, you end up winning nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. But oh my god, look at Carl. Look at Carl's excited face. Like you see the stars in his eyes, and it's like, yep, yeah, Carl, you sort of got what you wanted. There you go.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're not El Falcone's sidekick, but in the end, you still end up becoming part of the TV show. So hey, El Bollito's in. Hey.
Yeah. And also,
uh,
congratulations to Adelaide and Alexis for their characters being the heroes to
now, yeah,
Al Falcone.
now I'm wondering if we're gonna have another episode where we get to see another like El Falcone episode where we get to see Pandalade and Tuba Boy and El Boyito in an episode of El Falcone. That'll be really awesome to see if that happens.
If only, but we all know how this
But
series.
who knows? It could be in the Loud House. I mean, Loud House with the
Oh
Casagrandes.
god,
I mean, Casagrandes are gonna be in the Loud House season 7. So
oh god, was it watching El Falcone with the Casagrandes?
yeah, the Casagrande. Oh god, I don't know what's gonna happen. I know the Casagrandes are gonna be in the Loud House. Oh man. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for us. Sorry, that's it for our review. Do you have anything else you want to bring up for Sidekickin Chicken?
Pandalada's best hero. Let's go. Pandalada's best character.
Obviously, go for Pandalade.
You want
All
more
right.
Pandalade?
I got nothing else to say. How would you rate Sidekickin Chicken?
I would definitely rate this I want to rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Like it's definitely a good but not great Carl episode. Like I said, it sort of plays by the numbers of Carl's scheming, Carl's plan backfiring, Carl's a change of heart. Carl becomes a good boy, all that stuff. But I really do like how it's superhero themed. Like it's basically Carl wanting to play a part in Al Falcone, not be in Al Falcone, but his character that he created being Al Falcone, which I really do find very intriguing. And also the rap music number that he puts up is very awesome, very catchy. Oh, and also Pandalade is the best. Don't forget it. Pandalade is the best.
Hold on for a second. Let me just finish this up here. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I got nothing much. I mean, Sidekickin Chicken definitely was an awesome episode. I mean, definitely a call back to what is it, El Boyito, and the fact that Carl was a huge El Falcone fan. I didn't expect to actually see the other two, Alexis and Adelaide, to actually be a part of the show, and I think they were definitely like a cool, necessary part. The fact that like Carl has some stiff competition against trying to become the next was it sidekick to Al Falcone. So I love this. I like how this interaction came to be. In the end, they still end up becoming part of the show. So I'm guessing like Carl still won, sorta. I thought it would be like an episode where like Carl will accept defeat, but no, he ended up winning still. So whatever. What kind of episode was that? Anyways, I enjoyed it. I liked it. 8 out of 10 for me. No doubt about it. I think this definitely was an awesome Carl episode. And I liked and Adelaide, because I know a lot of fans love Pandalade for sure.
Yes, let's go.
All All right, so let's move on to our next episode that also aired on February 15th. I'm sorry, July 8th, and it's called Silent Fight. All right, synopsis here reads: once Carlitos falls asleep, Carl and CJ must conduct all their playing and fighting in absolute silence. So this episode begins. So let's start off with the episode where it all began with Carlitos crying so loudly that caused Frida and Carlos to lose their sleep, literally like a whole night's of sleep. They tried to get Carlitos to stop the crying, but nothing works. So do you feel bad for Carlos and Frida, knowing that they couldn't make Carlitos sleep at all?
Yeah, honestly, I really did because, like, if you look closely, you can see how tired they are. You can see, like, they desperately need to sleep. Like, oh my God, look at this. Look at the baggage in their eyes. They got so much baggage right there. Like, man, you just want Carlos to just, calm down and just, stop all that crying just so that Carlos and Rios will get that much deserved sleep.
I felt so bad for them. And the other thing, too, is that you can't do anything about it. Carlitos is sick. I mean, he was sick. So he had a cold. And the thing is that I'm guessing the cold is definitely bothering him. That's the reason why he was crying. He's like, I feel better. Wow, wow, wow. So he can't feel any better. He needs to get like cold medicine or something like that. And obviously, it is definitely intruding towards Carlos and Frida. And it's just so sad to see them just continuing to try to make Carlitos sleep. At the same time, they're also like suffering when it comes to their sleep, but when it comes to not even sleeping as well. So it's like I definitely felt bad for the parents. Just the fact that like Carlitos is still, crying, and yeah, being a parent sucks, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is why I don't really plan to have kids myself, but like I see a lot of people do plan to have kids. So I'm just like, awesome, more power to them. But it's just you gotta be prepared for, be prepared for the good times and the bad times. I'm gonna say.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a parent. I wouldn't say anything. So after Carlitos seems to have calmed down, his two older brothers, Carl and CJ, would obviously cause a ruckus and start fighting. But yeah, that was definitely not good. How do you feel about the fact that, well, here's the thing, like you get to see Carl and CJ, they love to play, obviously it's their house after all. But the thing is that Carlitos is sleeping, and then whenever he hears any bickering, he's gonna cry. So obviously, how do you feel about this part here? Where like I get it, like Carl and CJ definitely love to play, but you have a sick brother. What can you do?
Yeah, honestly, I do like how they emphasize the relationship between Carl and CJ because it pretty much shows how the two, while they're brotherly towards each other, there's always going to be some sort of rivalry between the two. So obviously, because they share the same bedroom, they play with the same toys and all that stuff. So yeah, it's to be expected. And to be honest, I really do like this banter. I feel the banter is quite entertaining, and it's even more entertaining when they do its own spin on like a certain trope that I'm going to touch upon shortly.
Now the thing here is that the reason why they're fighting is because what is it? CJ cannot play as El Falcone. Obviously, Carl wanted to be El Falcone the whole time they play dolls together, and obviously he doesn't like that. They become fighting, they bicker, and in the end, you end up getting Carlitos crying. And I'm like, oh no, this is gonna go all bad. But this is how siblings do. I guess they kind of fight like that. I mean, they do. I mean, obviously, big brothers like them would like fight like that, and obviously it's a bad time to do it considering how Carlitos is definitely sick, and he's definitely like causing a ruckus between Carlos and Frida. So yeah, this is not a good time for you to actually start fighting now. But because what happens though is because the CJ and Carl's arguing, Frida's going to actually start to scold them and warn them that if they wake the little brother up, they're grounded for 2 months. So what are your thoughts here? First off, the ever so raging Frida.
Oh God, yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that
explain.
Like, Frida.
Come on, keep talking.
Frida is one mad mama, and I mean really mad. Up to the point where it's like, oh my God, look at this. The flames, man. The flames.
Yeah, dude, I understand her pain. Like, she can get so dramatic. And yeah, I understand she can get so dramatic by crying. But at the same time, she can get so dramatic by getting angry. And yeah, that definitely is a big emphasis here.
Yeah, I love the over-the-top emotions that she pulls off. It's what makes her one of the best Casagrande characters to me, just by the fact that they have like such they know how to make Frida's over-the-top emotions like creative. Like pretty much they put a they know how to, over exaggerate. They know how to pretty much make it over the top that is actually really funny.
Dude,
And of
that was
course,
just
Roxana Ortega, of course. Roxana Ortega's voice acting is especially what sells it.
so yeah, no more bickering, or else your mom is just going to ground you for 2 months.
Don't ground it for a month.
No, 2 months.
Yes.
But yeah, Roxana definitely did a great job on this. Oh God. Yeah, please never mess with Frida, even if you're like emotionally going to traumatize her or make her really angry. Yeah, she has a mood, especially when it comes to not sleeping.
And also the sharp teeth, like the look at how the teeth are sharpened. Like they really do further emphasize.
This is Casagrandes crew. The animation is perfect.
Stellar.
Yeah, so now here's the thing about the episode now. Obviously, not a peep from these guys. And it's just pretty much a silent episode where you get to see Carl and CJ pretty much do a lot of antics behind the scenes without any sound. So yeah, what are your thoughts on how this episode takes a unique approach of just making it so quiet, just to make sure that Carlitos doesn't wake up or anything?
First off, it's pretty ironic when you consider the fact that this episode that uses silent comedy, like pretty much has the two interact, quietly. It's pretty ironic when you consider the fact that this is an episode of a spin-off show to The Loud House. Right
now, it's what a silent house.
Apparently, this is what I like to call the quiet house. Like this is pretty much the quiet house right there. I don't know. I find it ironic that this is part of a Loud House universe, but that's just me. Anyway, so you do see Carl and CJ, bicker with each other, mess with each other's toys. Oh my God, no! The worst of all, CJ. The worst of all is CJ deleting so much of the game data off of Carl's Switch. I'm just like, no, you do not do that. Okay, come on, you don't do that. Like here's the thing. At least with Lana did. At least with Lana's case in Game On or Game Off, it's by the fact that she accidentally did it. Whereas CJ, he did this on purpose just to mess with it. I'm just like, how could you, man? How could you? Now, and second off, I love the fact that like this episode is reminiscent to these silent cartoons, Felix the Cat and Tom and Jerry and all that stuff. Like they know how to.
I definitely do have I really do see a Tom and Jerry feel. The fact that like we get to see them doing their little crazy antics in quiet, pretty much. But you do get to see some sound effects pop up. It's like Carl gasping, and then all the times where like they were throwing away stuff. Like where was it? Carl threw away CJ's snips. Razor. And then you also get to see CJ throw away Carl's favorite shoes. So it's like, yeah, you get to see like the angriness of when it comes to Carl and CJ. And obviously the bickering continues on, even in a silent mode. Oh, and by the way, awesome look. Awesome look there, man.
Vito's going styling.
Vito definitely has a good look. Yeah. But besides that, yeah, I don't know what else I can bring up here. There's a lot of like things that I'm looking through the scenes here. Oh, yeah. Do not steal people's cake. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. Well, I forgot what happened here. Was it like Carl getting CJ's cake and then feeding it to feeding it to the dog?
It was pretty much Carl basically with CJ's cake, I think that's pretty much how the episode plays it out. Like, actually, either that or Carl eats the cake himself.
Oh wait, no, Carl eats.
Carl eats the cake.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Carl actually eats the cake himself, which causes CJ to pretty much go mad and fists clenched and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm looking through all the scenes because I took a lot of pictures of these. So it's like, yeah, so this is just a lot of ongoing scenes happening here. Carl eating CJ's cake. CJ, on the other hand, I think like giving the cake to, was it Lalo? And then Here's the worst thing of it all too. How dare you use somebody's hair gel for your styling dog?
It's it's still not as bad as erasing the game data off of your brother's
Yeah.
Switch, but this comes close.
Dude, you can just see Carl just continue to be angry and all. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Like Lala looks like a blonde Elvis Presley. Look at that. Look
Kind
at
of
that.
does, yeah, the way that I see it there. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bickering, and I'll just go through it. I'm just gonna go through it all. What happened here? I guess apparently. Shout outs by the way to some callback episodes by the way on this scene. Do you realize what Carl was scratching his butt with? Do you realize what Carl was picking his nose with? CJ's picking his nose with. So
Yeah,
if you remember, Spinoff, that was the second place trophy he ended up winning in that contest. CJ's little spinning contest, by the way. Yeah,
I love that episode, by the way. So right off the back, I'm just like, okay, Carl, how could you, man? How could you? Like, he earned it.
I know. He puts on his butt. I'm like, what the fuck? So first off, to the writers, nice callback, by the way, in that episode. And then you get to see CJ pick his nose with Carl's foam finger, which is a callback to How to Train Your Carl in that one episode for the Komodo Dragon, because it is a Komodo Dragon little foam finger, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, those are some really stellar callbacks, and it's a small batch of continuity in this episode, which I appreciate.
They love the continuity. It is amazing. So here's the thing now. They start to bicker. They're all fighting, and they're all doing it quietly. So everybody's all, sleeping, and everything's all peaceful. All that is until this whole El Falcon thing started to happen, where El Falcon was just giving out elotes, like literally just launching out elotes. It gets to a point where Carlitos actually was hit with one of those elotes, and he's awake. So throughout the next part of the episode, Carl and Cena are trying to do whatever it takes to make Carlitos fall asleep. So how do you feel about the fact that after all this bickering, now Carlitos is about to cry and now everything's about to go mayhem again?
Yeah, boys, you've done it this time. Like, you put yourselves in a situation, like, all because you had to mess with each other's stuff. There you go. Elote.
Dude,
I love that.
Okay, that might be the most annoying toy ever. Elote. Literally just like been throwing out elotes. Apparently it's like all packed up with like toy elotes in that little figure.
Not the most annoying toy though. Let's not forget about the Demon Fox from the Loud House. Yeah. Let's not forget about
the Crying Dame. The Crying Dame episode.
Crying Dame.
But yeah, Carlito is angry, and you remember what happened when Frida said, "You're going to be grounded for 1 month." No, 2 months.
Yeah, speaking of which, we don't want another Crying Dame here. Please, God, no, not another Crying Dame here.
Yeah, but to be fair, they actually thought back on Frida's little, punishment. So the whole episode now is pretty much trying their best to make sure Carlitos falls asleep. How do you like about that, like, couple scenes there?
I love the creative ways in which they do it. Not only does Carl read a book to CJ, like a picture book, but also the fact that, best of all, you have Carl and CJ dressing up as sheep and then pretty much waltzing around CJ's bed to CJ's crib to make sure that CJ, like they pretty much waltz around Carlitos's crib to make sure that he falls asleep. And it seems to be going well right up until the very end.
To say the least, though, throughout these last couple of scenes, we get to see Carl and CJ dance, make some funny faces to make sure Carlitos doesn't like cry or anything like that. Even, I forgot about that. CJ fed Carl's cake to Carlitos.
Nice payback. Nice payback.
Okay, yeah, it's a payback, but then it also was really helpful the fact that it actually made Carlitos happy that he ended up getting cake. And yeah, this part here where he's about to cry. Obviously, they had to dress up as sheep. And FYI, they had to wear Ronnie Ann's hoodie to make those sheep, by the way.
Okay, no. First off, you two owe Ronnie Ann you hoodies, okay? Like, that is not cool.
But they still ended up making it work because Carlitos would fall asleep. Yeah, I mean,
like,
at the end, they still ended up making it.
I'm just saying, if Frida doesn't kill these two, Ronnie Ann most certainly will.
Just because of them just taking her hoodies.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so, but yeah, I do like the whole idea here where, like, they would make. I think it was CJ who actually brought up the idea of making Carlitos fall asleep by making him count sheep. So he's like, they're literally hopping over the crib, making Carlitos count sheep, and in the end, he just ended up falling asleep. And to be fair, the two of them working together to make that plan all worked out in the end. So yeah, awesome that they end up making Carlitos fall asleep.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said before, unfortunately, it doesn't last very long, and we're going to touch upon that right now.
Yeah, fortunately at the end though, what was it Carl CJ will still again messing by fighting over El Falcon, causing one of these gadgets to hit Carlitos, causing him to cry. Now they're gonna be a big trouble because of this. How it sucked considering like literally just 1 second later they still end up fighting for El Falcon, and in the end Carlitos ends up crying again. Yeah, they're not punished. What would you feel about this?
Yeah, honestly, I know Carl and CJ were doing their best to pretty much make sure that they kept quiet while Carlitos was falling asleep. But then again, I'm looking at this. I'm just like, you seriously couldn't wait until you went to your own room to fight like this. Seriously, like honestly, I'm just like by the fact that Carl, do you need El Falcon that badly? You couldn't just like take it away from him like in your own room.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah, Carlitos ended up crying, and yeah, they're all punished. I feel bad for Carlitos too, considering that. It's too bad for Carl and CJ, considering that they actually will be grounded for 2 months. You didn't want to see another Frida getting angry again, so yeah. So the punishment happens. Carl and CJ were grounded. They're sent to their room. So after a long time of being grounded, they learned to actually get along well. And Carlitos and Frida are enjoyed the fact to see Carlitos go back to sleep. Sorry, I'm gonna get this word here. After a long time being grounded, they try to learn to get along well. You get to see Carl actually, try to be forgiving and actually tell CJ, "Hey, you want to play with El Falcon?" And in the end, they all ended up playing with each other. Carlitos ended up sleeping, but didn't happen considering that Carlos was the one who actually waked up again. But this whole ending definitely was relieved the fact that Carl and CJ now are bros again, hanging out together, not having this bickering stuff anymore. How did you feel about this ending for both CJ and Carl?
Yeah, even though they did screw up, I do like the fact that they did get a nice wholesome bonding scene at the end after being grounded for a long time and staying in their beds for a good chunk of hours. And then it's not only just us that is impressed to see them get along, but it's also their parents as well, Frida and Carlos.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I just like the fact that, after all this bickering and stuff, Carl actually was the one who changed the heart and actually did offer CJ to play. And then in the end, the whole fighting was because CJ cannot play as El Falcon. In the end, CJ was playing as El Falcon. And it looks like those two are bros again. And it's just awesome to see that. And of course, Carlos got grounded. Now you're grounded too.
Yeah, it turns out Carlos got grounded too. And I'm just like, oh wow! So now they could be grounded father and sons.
Oh god. Oh yeah, but yeah, that was pretty much it. It is pretty much a whole episode of them trying to make sure Carlitos is sleeping. I do love the approach the fact that they make it like a silent film or anything like that, which I thought was pretty cool. How did you feel about anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes, there's nothing much I could say except Carlos, CJ. If you thought Frida getting angry was bad, like wait till you see Ronnie Ann when she discovers you mess with her hoodies. Just saying.
I think she's going to get really angry about that for sure. But that's not beside the point. I mean, they needed to do whatever it takes to make sure Carlos doesn't cry. Like I said, the animation definitely was amazing. I swear to God, like, can we get more of the feral Frida? Like, we always get to see her cry, like, emotionally when it comes to waterfalls and all, but you never see her angry like that. I'm like, can we get more of that? I mean, that's awesome to see.
Exactly. The over-the-top emotions.
Can we get? Yeah, please. Let's hopefully get that when the Casagrandes go back to the Loud House. Unfortunately,
big mistake, Nickelodeon. Big mistake.
All right. Okay, let's go to our ratings. I mean, how would you rate Silent Fight?
I would definitely rate this a 9 out of 10, simply by the fact that it's pretty much a unique way. It's a unique approach to the comedy in this episode. I like the fact that it's pretty much Carl and CJ managing to make the slapstick, make the make the antics. Like they still make them funny without any dialogue. That's what I like about it. It's more of a show don't tell sort of thing, and it's very reminiscent to the Tom and Jerry cartoons that I've been a fan of for a long time, and also just by the fact that, oh my god, Angry Frida. Whew, angry Frida.
Can we get more of that, please? I'd love to see that again. I want to see Roxana continue to do like the raging, angry Frida, if anything.
So yeah, overall, love the episode, especially the unique comedy that is presented in this episode.
I no doubt. I do love the approach that they did with this silent episode. Literally, it was just mostly silent, like 75% of the episode, just to make sure Carlitos is quiet, make sure Carlitos sleeps. I do love the creativity that the writers have done to make a fight happen when it's quiet and all, and of course having the brothers do whatever it takes to make Carlitos not cry. Do love the approach of how this episode flows. I thought it was actually really pretty good. But yeah. I find it funny. I find it smart and intuitive to actually put some quiet scenes when it comes to this episode. But yeah, a funny twist on a way to make a quiet episode of a show. So yeah, I give this also a 9 out of 10. No doubt about it. I definitely like this episode. Definitely a really cool way of actually making a quiet episode, and to also make it funny like the Casagrandes way and all.
Definitely. And like I said, silent fight is an episode that it takes place in a loud house episode. Think about
I know. out of the loud house, like, what is it, spin-off series, you ended up actually getting like a quiet episode, I guess. Was there a loud house episode that was also quiet too? I don't remember.
The closest was Any Given Sunday.
Just because Lily was like, was the.
But that wasn't really silent. It was more like,
or maybe Lovebirds too. That was more towards the animals.
Yeah, no. I would say that the most silent episodes of Loud House are the animal episodes, and also the closest thing to a Loud House quiet episode that is outside of the animal episodes is the one where Lucy thought that she was Lucy supposedly stole away the siblings' voices, but it turns out to not be the case.
No, but then it was like mostly like 20% quiet, but the rest was like Lucy talking, and obviously the siblings were also talking as well. I wouldn't call that a quiet episode. I would say more towards like more like animal, not like Animal House. I was gonna say Pet Peeved or what was it?
Lovebirds.
Yeah, any of those two. Any of those two episodes, I think were more towards like a quiet film there.
No, this might be like outside of the animal episodes. We know the animal episodes are the quietest, but the episodes that focus on the humans in Loud House that's the quietest would probably be that Lucy Loud episode.
I don't know. I mean, we all have our judgment. I think there's another episode that's definitely more quieter than that, but this is a Loud House. It'd be funny if they actually do have a quiet episode of the Loud House. Make it happen, Loud House. Make it happen, Loud Crew.
In the quiet house. In the quiet house.
Oh god, that's creepy. The way you say that. It's like Quiet Place, that one movie, Quiet Place.
Which I still haven't seen.
Oh, dude. Okay, it's scary as heck, though. Just to let you know. All right, let's move on to our next episode before we go off topic here. It's called Kick Some Butt, that premiered on July 15th. All right, so Sid faces off against Lisa Loud in the Greatest Lake City's Robotics Cup. Wait, did I just say that right? Sid faces off against Lisa Loud in the Great Lake City competition. Did I hear that right? Lisa Loud is in this episode?
You heard correct. Lisa Loud is in a Casagrandes episode.
So we had Lori in a Casagrandes episode. Lincoln is always in a Casagrandes episode. Clyde is in a Casagrandes episode. We were waiting for other like Louds to be a part of a Casagrandes episode, and you finally get Lisa out of all people.
I know, right? It really does go to show how the Loud House, as of recently, like really loves Lisa Loud up to a point where they would let her be in the Casagrandes before it ends. And I'm just like, okay, I see you couldn't have a Luna cameo. Well, technically you did in Cursed. I wouldn't really count it Cursed because
no, it was a whole family.
It's like the whole family. But I'm just saying singular loud.
Yeah, you have a
You couldn't
singular
have
loud come in, yeah. And then
you,
you're thinking that it would be that one episode we talked about infidelity, considering that it was maybe Luna the one who gave was it the one guy a CD, a Max Swagger CD?
exactly. Why could you have that? You could have at least given us that. But oh well. And also by the fact that like Luna cameo would have worked in a Casagrandes because it would have been another it would have been like a Battle of the Bands episode with Bobby's band versus
Mm,
Luna's band, which I would have loved to
yeah.
see.
We would love to see, but we only have 4 episodes left. I know. I'm so sad too. All right, so let's start it off here. The episode begins with Adelaide showing off her first place ribbon for her best unicorn princess cosplay to her mom, which she puts in Adelaide's Hall of Fame. This causes Sid to get jealous because Sid doesn't have much awards compared to Adelaide. So, do you feel for Sid at this moment? Like the fact that like her mom, like their mom is definitely liking Adelaide more, considering that Adelaide has a lot more awards compared to Sid.
First off, I'm just gonna say one thing. Adelaide is a professional cosplayer. Enough
Uh,
said.
she's only a little kid, but if she continues to become like an awesome costumer, maybe.
She has potential. I mean, look at that. She won first place. She won first place for cosplay contest. Okay, I say she's got a bright future ahead of her. And second off, I did feel bad for Sid because, yeah, it feels like it's pretty much it's the thing that older siblings go through anyway, where pretty much their parents give the younger siblings more attention than the older ones. It's very common.
I felt so bad for Sid, considering that she's tried to do her best when it comes to actually like say, hey, I've done this before, like eat two pizzas, like ate 2 big slices of pizza at one time. I'm like, is that really a good honor?
It's actually one big slice, huge slice of pizza in one bite. And she even said later on that she wants to eat 2 slices of pizza in one go to impress her mom, like later on in a scene with Sid, Ronnie, and Breakfast Spot.
Seeing this whole prize wall that Adelaide has, it reminds me of that one episode.
It reminds me of that too, making the case. Yeah, it turns out that I look at this, I'm just like, Sid, like, have you seen Lincoln Loud? Like, Lincoln Loud goes to the same thing as you. Like, I think you two can relate. Like Ronnie Ann's best friends have the same dilemma. Like, we're pretty much their own sisters. Like, their respective sisters get all the prizes, and Sid and Lincoln don't really get that much prizes or much recognition.
Exactly. So I don't know what, Sid, you probably need to like step up your game and actually try to win an award and all. But yeah. So the thing is that, yeah, obviously she's jealous. Sid is definitely not getting as much praise compared to Adelaide, who's been getting all the praise from her mom. So she would actually go, she actually gets an idea to enter a robotics contest in order to impress her mom. So all the robots seem like they're good competition, especially a certain one that we all know. Sid will do whatever it takes to, become to get that honor. The thing is that there's a big competition for her when it comes to getting that contest win. Out of all people, Lisa Loud comes up and brings in Todd, the one that we all know from the Loud House.
Yes.
He's now I think a permanent person now in the Loud House.
I know.
First off, how
He's
excited
an honor
were you?
Loud.
How excited were you to hear that Lisa Loud, out of all people, is in the Casagrandes for the first time?
Yeah, honestly, it was quite a surprise seeing Lisa Loud in the Casagrandes, and to see her play a prominent role in the episode as Sid's opponent in the game. What I love about this is that there's never a bitter rivalry between these two, especially considering the fact that Sid recently said that she follows Lisa's podcast, and I was actually waiting for them to mention Lincoln at some point, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case. But whatever. Yeah, I didn't really expect that to for there to be a connection between Sid and Lisa. It's nice to see.
I did not expect this either, but then again, I would imagine Sid like listening to Lisa's podcast, considering Sid is a huge person who loves robotics. I mean, she made Breakfast Fun of all people. I mean, and then you obviously have a person, Lisa, who've also made robots too, and obviously Todd is the one one robot that has been all over the Loud House for now. So it makes sense how Sid and Lisa can become like a really cool duo. The fact that they love robots and all, and obviously they're here in a competition, which makes sense. I mean, you have two smart people who love it who are into robotics definitely competing here. Out of all people, it's still though. I mean, like I thought we would have some other stiff competition, but I never expect Lisa out of all people to come by. But yeah, again, Lisa out of all people, why not like Lola Loud or something? Lola could be like doing a pageant gig over at Great Lake City, or Luna doing a concert gig with her band over at Great Lake City. But Lisa out of all people, I was like, okay, I want to see how this. I like how it is, considering that it is robotics and Lisa's into robotics, and then Sid is also into robotics. So this definitely is a good dynamic between both of them. But yeah, Lisa, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it really does go to show that Lisa has been killing it in seasons 5 and 6. That she is definitely deserves the reward of getting a Casagrandes cameo.
But yeah, and also the fact that when Todd came in, you already know that the competition is going to be really stiff. I mean, there are other competitors that were there too, like what is it, Vito's robot, which by the way, call back again to another episode where that robot now became Vito's buddy.
Vito's roommate, and
Yeah,
also Maybell, like somehow has a mango robot. I'm just like, how she managed
okay,
that?
I'm not surprised about that. Mango robot for her. I mean, come on. But once Todd came in, you already know that I think this is going to be a win for Lisa. Yeah, I can see that in Sid's face.
Oh my god, look at Sid's face. Look at that jaw-dropping face. Not only jaw-dropping, but more like that big white gap on her face, like the big white gap in her mouth. It's just like, yeah, I think that was all of us.
I especially Sid, considering that she never met Todd before. I don't think any of the Casagrandes did, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. But then you see Todd, it has many features. I'm just like, whoa. Like Lisa can definitely do a lot with these robots. Like, like that.
So the thing is that this whole competition is pretty much having the robots do like certain chores, like cleaning up, getting rid of the trash, making playing basketball, and cooking breakfast for like a couple examples. Explain your thoughts on each of these each of these sequences here where the robots have to do this kind of things in order for them to move on to the next round.
Of course, like now the cleaning, of course, it's no surprise that both robots managed to pull it off. You've even seen Breakfast Spot.
God, look at Todd though. I mean, he just makes it fancy with the light catch and the rose petals.
Yeah, like Todd could really set up a romantic dinner date. Like I think like Todd can. Honestly, I think like Lisa should reserve Todd to pretty much set up a fancy dinner date between her brother and her.
Oh my god!
Between her brother and her opponent's BFF.
Oh my god. Okay, and then of course you got to get Breakfast Spot also, being at the competition as well. Look, they at least were doing pretty well. They ended up going through rounds. In basketball, it makes sense considering that I don't know what, but Sid always puts in brand new CDs for Breakfast Spot to actually learn, and in the end, they do end up learning this kind of stuff. While Todd already is programmed to do whatever it can. So like Sid definitely won the basketball thing too. You also get to see, Todd break a freaking basket. We're playing the basketball game too.
Todd doing the slam dunk. Look at that. Boom.
He just slammed on that one. And then you also get to see Breakfast Spot do whatever he can, do what he can. Breakfast, obviously. Yeah, he's Breakfast Spot after all.
Well, yeah, he was made for this. Like Sid even said so in the episode itself, he was made for this.
Exactly. So they look like he would be able to pass that, but of course Todd also surpasses him as well. Jesus. To say the least, Lisa is just dominating, and it feels so bad for Sid considering that throughout the whole time, Sid's mom was also cheering in the sidelines. How do you feel about that? That throughout the whole time, Sid's mom was there, definitely cheering her on.
I love that. I love seeing Sid's mom, Becca, pretty much still keeping her spirits, like cheering her, daughter on. It really does show how Becca is very supportive towards both sisters, not just Adelaide. Like you see Becca pretty much cheering her on, like being like the biggest fangirl of Sid. It's sort of similar to how Maria. Well, you remember that episode, that short where Maria had all these
Oh yeah.
Ronnie and merchandise. And I'm just like, that's a supportive bomb right there. That's pretty much the same case here. It's the exact same energy.
Maria's too supportive of Ronnie Ann.
Yeah, same thing could be said with Becca, although not up to point, not up to level of Maria, but still look at her. She has that energy. She has that supportive mom energy.
Yeah, I think
what is Celtics? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think that he was into robotics so much he ended up actually becoming a robot too. If you continue to see, like, she wanted to support her by getting like 2 of the robot hands and getting a robot body and a head, and I'm like, I get it. You're totally into what Sid is getting into. She's about to win. She's about to win that trophy for you.
Yeah, honestly, I think like what would have been better is that if you had like Rita right next to her, putting on the mom energy for Lisa, and then you kind of see Becca and Rita fighting.
Oh my god!
I kind of would have liked to see that. I'm not gonna lie.
Like motherly fight between both of them. It's like my daughter's better. My daughter's better. My daughter's better, and then they bicker
like
for about that.
It's sort of like those, dad fights when they watch their sons in a baseball game, like sort of like that.
No, except this is in robotics, I guess.
Like,
so yeah, the whole competition all ends up with the 2 of them, Todd and Breakfast Bot. Last but not least, there's just there's this last thing that they got to do, and it's a talent show. Where in the talent show, Todd will play music and even rap too. So I'm guessing Lisa programmed the rap feature for Todd, and he ended up having a stellar performance. But when it comes to Breakfast Bot, things go awry for him. Sid would do whatever it takes to make sure he's very talented, but in the end, it turned out he actually was going to destroy robots. What are your thoughts in this part here, where Sid would do whatever it takes to beat Todd?
Yeah, honestly, like when you see Todd, love you got, like, he is just shining, like he's playing like all kinds of instruments, probably influenced by Luna, and also when you see how talented Todd is, Sid desperate for a win, like pretty much in order to outshine Todd, she's desperate to pretty much put in all these CDs to help Breakfast Bot have many talents, but little does she know that it would come to backfire later on, because there's such a thing as too much CD burnout.
So yeah, Sid would end up giving a lot of CDs to Breakfast Bot, and then it ended up having a programming bot where he literally was a luchadora. And yeah, too much overload would definitely ruin his like composure to say. He was about to destroy Todd. Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, he was about to destroy Todd, and not only that, just the fact that Becca was actually dressed up as a robot now. There's a problem now. Oh
no way.
Yeah, it looks like Breakfast was about to destroy Becca too. Until Sid started to like say, "Hey, stop." So this part here was like, "Oh damn," this started to get really bad.
Yeah, look at that. Becca is literally like, Becca's kind of like trapped, like hanging on to her life, and Sid, of course, desperate to save her mom. Sid pretty much defeats Breakfast Bot in the only way she can, by serving him breakfast. Breakfast Bot, eat breakfast.
And he ended up getting breakfast. So there you go. Oh, and I love the fact too that Sid actually dressed up as a robot for her to serve breakfast to Breakfast Bot.
I really like that too. I really like that too. It was awesome seeing that. Just look at that. The Sidinator.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, after all of this whole madness that happened here, Sid confesses to her mom that she wanted to win her approval because she was jealous of Adelaide getting all the attention. Becca understands that it's because Adelaide's the youngest, that she needs all the praise and attention, but she appreciates Sid at the same time. And of course, Sid and so how did you feel about this whole resolution here where, Sid understands now that Adelaide needs more attention, and that Becca also would give attention to Sid as well?
I love this ending. It really does show such a heartwarming Chang family moment between mother and daughter, Becca and Sid. I especially love the hug that they have at the end. Just oh my god, it's just so it's so tenderly. It's really sweet, and it ends with the two of them coming to an understanding with each other. And Sid now knows that her mom loves Adelaide and Sid equally, but it's just that since Adelaide is the younger of the two, of course she's going to give more attention to Adelaide, but that doesn't mean that makes her love Sid any less.
Yeah, the thing now is the fact that Adelaide does have, I get it, like Adelaide has a lot more praise, and that's the reason why, as a motherly figure, they always appreciate the younger ones. I feel like Sid, I understand Sid's little dilemma, the fact that Sid definitely looks like she's outshined compared to Adelaide. But then the understanding here is the fact that, like, as a mom, you obviously want to go for you want to actually give praise to your younger ones more. And of course, now that she realizes that Sid, is lacking the attention, also, they at least were able to at least make a compromise where Becca will now, give more attention to Sid. As much as Adelaide too,
Yeah, definitely.
which I thought was just an absolutely like heartwarming thing happening here with the Changs. Now, also in this scene here, we also get to see Lisa and Sid actually apologize to each other. Sid apologizing to Lisa the fact that Todd got destroyed, and the fact that they actually want to team up together to actually make some robots and stuff. It does tell me that there's a possible new episode happening with these two. Did you want to see that?
Yeah, we're gonna go see that maybe in the Loud House, but unfortunately not in the Casagrandes for obvious reasons.
I know, but I mean, it just tells me like I just hope Sid does not go away from the Loud House, because yeah, we love to see Sid again, and these two do have a dynamic of them like making robots and all. So yeah, please, can we have an episode of Sid and Lisa again?
Yeah, I like to see this duo. I like to see this duo work, and then like hopefully you get Sid's BFF and Lisa's brother involved in this somewhat also.
And then of course they ended up with a dance party at the end. So I thought it was like, oh, all the robots are back. Yay, it's all dancing. So this was a good way to end the episode, I guess.
Robot dance party, let's go.
Robot dance party, yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yeah, like I said before, I love the fact that the competition between Sid versus Lisa, like it was never personal at all. I love that the rivalry was never bitter. It's never up to the point where it's like, oh, you're going down or something like that. No, it was friendly competition between the two. And Sid had her own reasons to pretty much try to win the contest, but at the end of the day, she did get what she wanted in the end. And it's not that it's not the contest that she wanted most of all in the episode, but rather it's to please her mother. It's her mother's approval is what she wants. And at the end of the day, while Lisa did get her prize at the end of the episode, so did Sid.
Hmm. Okay, I do want to also point out this one little scene where we get to see a Sedani moment. I do like this whole sisterly bond between the two of them,
Yes.
and also, please, more braided Ronnie Ann.
I love the Sid doing Ronnie Ann's hair, braiding it. I just loved it. That just screams Sid Donnie right there.
I know Sid was definitely venting here, but at the same time, I love how Ronnie Ann was so supportive to Sid, especially when it comes to this. So it's like, oh well, Ronnie Ann, this is so cute that you're helping out Sid in her time of need, and Sid helping you out with her hair.
I loved it.
Yeah, I just had to point it out. Just like, oh, cool, an awesome Sidani moment here. All right, but I got nothing else to say. I mean, how would you rate Kick Some Bot?
I would honestly rate Kick Some Bot a 9 out of 10 also. Like definitely a solid Sid episode, a solid cameo by Lisa Loud. Let's be honest, she deserves this Casagrandes cameo after awesome she's been in the recent two seasons, season 5 and season 6. And the competition was really interesting between Todd and Breakfast Bot, both shown to be prominent robots. And I'm not going to be lie. I actually want to see a bro bot mans between Todd and Breakfast Bot soon in an episode. Also, like I sort of bro ship Todd and Breakfast Bot.
Kind of do appreciate that too. Like, I would love to see more Breakfast Bot and Breakfast Spot and Todd, if anything. I feel like there's a rivalry between these two. That if it comes to fruition, it'll be awesome to actually see that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I never expected this. I never expected to see Lisa Loud of all people to actually make it to a Casagrandes episode. I thought another Loud would actually make it. I do love the whole robotics competition here. I do love the dynamic between the two characters that are here, Sid and Lisa, who definitely are into robots. I mean, I think this was, I believe, long term coming. The fact that like, oh, they both love robots. Why aren't they having an episode together? And I'm guessing some of the fans are actually got their answer. They got their wishes answered today with this episode because I thought it was good. I thought it was definitely an awesome episode. Breakfast Spot versus Todd definitely was a really awesome competition. No doubt about it. It definitely was. There also the Chang lesson that was also learned from this episode was definitely awesome too. I have to say, not bad of an episode. So yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I thought it was a really good. Shout outs to Lisa for coming over to the Casagrandes. Hopefully, we get to see more Louds come to the Casagrandes before the Casagrandes end. Sadly, but we'll see. Let's see. I don't know. We only have 4 episodes left.
I'll never understand why I had to come to this. Is why.
I know. It just feels so sad. I mean, we're gonna keep on saying that, I guess, throughout these next couple of reviews. All right. Let's go on to our last episode that we're going to review tonight. It's called Salvador Doggy. Synopsis here says, when faced with a deadline and no inspiration, Frida tries to use Lalo's painting as her own. So the episode begins with Frida struggling with her art. She has a showcase coming up and she doesn't have anything she can paint to make her stand out. But luckily, Lalo is the one to actually come up and pretty much makes around the canvas, but it turned out to be actually a good piece for the curator that was actually running the art gallery. So were you surprised about about Romeo's reaction to the paintings, the fact that the dog was the one who was actually making the paintings and Frida was definitely cashing in on it?
Yeah, honestly, like I was kind of surprised by Romeo's reaction because, well, if you look at Frida's painting, it's kind of like nothing but scribbles, like scribbles of paint and all that stuff. And Romeo like has this abstract view of art and all stuff because somehow he can analyze like scribbles of art that are painted by a dog, which Romeo doesn't know. Like he still thought that it was Frida at that point. So yeah, and honestly, and like I said before, look at Angry Frida. Angry Frida has come back. Angry Frida has come back.
Not that Angry Frida, but I understand artist block definitely gets you. I mean, like you try to draw something, it doesn't really like inspire you or anything, makes you angry. And I love the fact that like this is like during a podcast where she was just listening to a podcast and then she was just like looking at her brush and her brush was just talking back to her. And it's like, yeah, now she's really pissed. I love the expression. I was glad I actually caught that when I was watching this episode.
The brush is taunting you. It's like, yeah, Angry Frida is back.
Oh god, just the fact that we're there. And here's the thing too. I mean, like I understand like Frida definitely has some artist block and what can she do? The fact that she wants to make some great piece, but can't do it because she's definitely cannot find an idea. And then out of all people, Lalo would be the one to actually give her that inspiration or give her the piece that makes the curator actually like it. So I don't know. I was interesting the fact that the dog actually ended up making it, and then Frida would do whatever it takes to make sure Lalo would be the one to do these art pieces.
Yeah, honestly, like if you look at this, like it really does go to show how Lalo, while kind of doing it on accident, like it really does show how loyal Lalo is. Like Lalo is a good boy because because after Romeo shows up and then Romeo leaves, like Lalo is now willing to do this for Frida, like like actually on purpose do this artwork for Frida.
Yeah, so now pretty much Frida has a dilemma where she needs to make these kind of artworks and has to get Lalo to, do it for him. So yeah, Romeo asks Frida to do 10 of these paintings for the showcase, leaving her with the option of asking Lalo to be the responsible for her paintings. So I mean, your thoughts on having Frida pretty much ask Lalo to do the paintings?
Yeah, I think it's because like when you're in an artist block, right? I think it's because like the artist doesn't have much confidence in doing this kind of art herself with her own hand, with her own paintbrush. So of course she's got to use Lalo as sort of a tool in order to do the paintings for her, in order to help secure the confidence. Even though in order to boost the confidence, you actually got to, get out of the artist block in some way, shape, or form, and try to find a way to do the art yourself. But I digress.
You know what, though? If it's anything for Frida to actually become successful with artwork, I guess that you can be okay to, show up to get your dog to make the artwork, I guess. So the thing is, Lalo agrees to work for Frida, but then out of all people, Sergio would be the one to pop up and ask about the paintings. Lalo tells him that she's doing it for no cost. And then, of course, this all leads up to a little business scheme that Sergio is doing for Lalo. If Lalo wants to do these paintings, Sergio's pretty much scheming up for Lalo to get money in order for Lalo to get pretty much like whatever he wants in order for these paintings to work. Do you think it's fair? Do you think Sergio is actually right for once to actually make, Lalo, to make Frida do all these kind of things for Lalo?
Semi.
I thought you were gonna be angry at Sergio.
well, here's the thing. He does kind of have a point. Frida can't be doing this, for free. She's got to pay a price at some point because she's using Lalo as a tool in order to do the paintings for her while taking the credit. So she's got to pay in some way. So I do see where Sergio is going with this. And it was up to a point where I'm just like, Sergio could be right for once. But then again, he kind of ruins it because Sergio himself is kind of exploiting the situation as well, even worse than Free does, by pretty much after having her sign the contract, he pretty much forces Frida to tend to not just Lalo's needs, but also Sergio's needs as well. I'm just like, Sergio, to quote Carlota, you are a hypocrite. Yeah. Sergio, you are an absolute hypocrite because, while you're accusing Frida of using Lalo to do your bidding, to do her bidding, you're kind of doing the same thing yourself with, forcing Frida to do bidding for Lalo. I can understand. Lalo's doing the work, so she's gotta, pay her dues to Lalo. But she doesn't owe jack to you, Sergio. She doesn't owe crap to you, Sergio. Seriously.
Sergio shouldn't be the one to actually get a lot of pampering or anything like that. It should be Sergio. So it makes sense for it should be Lalo. There's a reason why Lalo gets all the fancy digs, food, treats, walks, all this kind of stuff, but not for Sergio. I'm like, oh god damn it, Sergio, you had to be a part of this too.
Exactly. I'm just like the one time where the episode appears for Sergio to be the just, to be right. We should have known that at the end of the day, he was mainly doing this for himself. It was never about Lalo.
Of course. Then again, it is Sergio after all, so Okay, hold on for a second. All right. So after Sergio makes Frida sign a contract legally, binding the fair deal, Frida does all kinds of stuff for Lalo and Sergio, unfortunately, walking them, feeding them snacks, and even letting them take her bed. Oh boy. Frida gets so fed up that she finds another dog to do the yard for. Okay, so first off, do you think it's fair for Frida to do all this kind of stuff, considering that, well, first off, she signed a contract and now she's pretty much being punished for what she's doing, making Lalo do all the work?
Yeah, honestly, I know that Sergio's taking it too far and sort of unjust because Frida's doing all this, not just for Lalo, but also Sergio himself for some reason, but also just by the fact that, she pretty much can't even sleep in her own bed. I'm just like, okay, where was Carlos in this? Where was Carlos, yelling at Lalo and Sergio for them to get out of the bed? I'm just like, where was he? Is Carlos sleeping in the bodega or something? That was weird.
I don't know particular either, but still, looking through all of this kind of scenes here, you signed a contract and now you're pretty much having walks here. And look at Sergio, by the way, he's literally chilling as well. I'm like, are you kidding me? Can you at least let Lalo be the one to do the walk instead of Sergio also tagging as well. I'm like, God damn it.
Like I said, Frida doesn't owe you, Bird Squad, Sergio. Frida
So
doesn't
I
owe
mean,
you Bird Squad.
Sergio does end up getting the artwork. It's all good. Yeah, they look nice. But at the same time, oh boy, you're going to make Lalo walk. You got to make Sergio also relax and walk too. And I'm like, I don't think this is good for Frida.
Yeah, honestly, and I wish you had that photo of Frida in Lalo's bed, because let me tell you, it's another angry Frida
There's a lot.
expression right
Actually, no,
there.
no, no. To be fair, what the hell? We have a lot of angry Fridas actually from this slideshow here. I'm sorry. Here's where she snapped.
Look at that.
I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, that part there where and also the part too where Lalo takes her. Lalo literally takes her bed, and Sergio's like, "Oh, we got the contract here. We want to make sure Lalo's rested up nicely." So where does Frida sleep? Yeah, in the dog bed. In the dog bed, out of all places.
I was just talking about that. Look at that. Not only are her eyes wide, but you can see the red. You can see the red.
Oh yeah.
Not only representing stress, but also representing lack of sleep. Look at that.
Oh my god. I don't know what, but I just feel like this, like I said, when we make this episode review, maybe make this episode reviews episode here, I was thinking there's just way too many Frida expressions from these last couple episodes, and I'm like, I need to share this to everybody.
I know,
because they're all good.
Like Frida, who would have thought that Frida would be a total mood for the week?
It was literally the total mood and all. So yeah, look. Was it Lalo ended up having a really nice sleep? Frida did not, and then he pretty much called it off and said hey, I'm done with you. I'm gonna find another dog for me to get a good painting and all. So what was it? Frida tries to find another dog to be her artist by setting up a doggy daycare to find these other 3 dogs that also tried to be the next Lalo but isn't. So explain your thoughts on the these dogs that Frida would try to hire and try to be make the next great artwork like Lalo.
Yeah, of course, the 3 dogs don't exactly go that well. First off, you got Nelson, who doesn't work so well. You got Buttercup, and then you got Fluffy. And of course, you got look at this. You got Nelson, especially, who's messing with the green paint, shaking it and spreading it everywhere, especially.
To be fair, if you put it on a canvas, it would have been nice. But you actually just start. Well, I like the fact that Mr. Nakamura literally said I just washed her up already, and then you made her go through paint, and then look at her now, she's just all covered up in paint.
Yeah, and of course, Buttercup and Fluffy aren't exactly much better.
Okay, but the other thing too is for Buttercup. Look, we've seen her before. She is an eater. She would eat anything. And I also do love this joke here where I'll show you if you a good drawing, I'll show you some treats. And then she's about to get the treats, and then Buttercup ate the paint, which she thought was treats. Buttercup, that's not the treats.
That is one hungry dog, let me tell you. Even if it's for inevitable food.
And then the last dog too. Look, he made a good artwork. How the heck did you reject that?
Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is beautiful. Honestly, Frida, if I were you, I would show this to Romeo.
Exactly. And Fluffy just got rejected also. It's Frida, are you blind? This is really good artwork. It can't be abstract art, okay, all the time. It could be good artwork like this.
Exactly. It's pretty much, the Fluffy's pretty much the dog version of Leonardo da Vinci or whoever.
Right. But yeah, these dogs ended up failing for quote unquote failing for Frida. So yeah, the only way to do it is to actually get Lalo back. And the thing is that she would do whatever it takes to get Lalo back by going to a park and pretty much try to find Lalo. But we also do get to see another dog out there. Shout outs to another episode, by the way, Parental, because you also get to see Malo again.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you feel about Becky's dog coming back in this episode?
Not only do you see Malo, but you also see Becky herself, and she's going to go and give this certain kid a wedgie because apparently that kid didn't recycle, which, okay, I'm thankful for Becky.
I'm do you like Becky now? I'm do you like Becky now? Why do people hate Becky?
You got to hand it to Becky. She does care about Mother Earth, okay? Like when you see Becky, you better throw that soda can in the trash can. It's because hey, it's just like Becky the no trash gremlin says, "Give a garbage, throw out your garbage, spread the word." Somehow I would imagine Becky with a gun.
Oh God. I just remember the Family Guy episode, so that's why I just had to do the bang bang bang. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm like, I thought the Pero Malo episode would be the only time we get to see Malo. I mean, we get to see Becky a lot, and I'm pretty happy about that, considering like, oh yeah, Becky, yay, we get to see her a lot. Look, she's not the bully that everybody's been talking about, considering what happened in that one episode that Omi and I cannot talk about anymore.
Part of me still doesn't forgive her for that, but she's pretty much shown in a more positive light this time around. Not 100%, but still, she's getting better.
Look, she's getting better. Okay, I like her now. I'm liking Becky. She's a great person, even though she might be a bully still to people. I mean, she was about to give a wedge to somebody, but for the good, though. But for good.
Well, they're good, exactly. It's called the garbage can. Okay, help out Mother Earth.
And the other thing too is that of course Malo's back, so obviously we get some little identity crisis, like what happened in Pero Malo, for example, where Malo literally went to the Casagrandes apartment and started to wreak havoc. We get to see Frida actually meet up with Malo, and of course you already know that some havoc is gonna happen too. That whole scene where Frida actually meets up with Malo, what were your thoughts? The fact that like Frida mistakes was it Lalo with Malo, and then when she has Malo become the painter, it all goes bad.
Yeah. So pretty much, Frida, if you were let's just say that if you were the first Casagrande to mistake your dog with another dog, you're mistaken. No. It's your whole family that did this before you, so you're good. Second off,
I also want to bring this up too. I mean, I understand how desperate Frida could be when it comes to actually getting her paintings done. And I'm like, I miss the overdramatic Frida. I miss the overdramatic Frida. She's back again. I'm seeing all kinds of Frida, like sad, happy, angry. What's going on here? Is this a Frida like episode review episode we're doing right now?
Like, look at that. The flood of tears right there. Look at that. The River of Tears by Frida. I know, yeah. I love it.
But I understand like how desperate she could be, especially when it comes to actually getting like the paintings done. So it's like, yeah. But yeah, you were saying, Omid?
Yeah, so pretty much, like of course, like Frida would take Maldo, thinking that he is Lalo, and then when she leaves him to the work, she goes to the living room, and then that's when she puts two and two together, and realizes, oh crap, that isn't Lalo. Like the one next to my paintings is actually a different dog. I'm gonna go back, and then would you know it? Too little, too late.
Too late, way too late too. I mean, he literally left. I'm sorry, Frida literally left Malo to pretty much do the paintings, and then I love the fact that like she literally goes to Radian to the other Casagrandes apartment, and she literally says hi Lalo, and then she says like, wait, Lalo? Then what's that other dog? And then she runs back, and then the whole thing goes a mess, and I'm like, wow, that was like literally like 30 seconds of Frida just realizing, you got the wrong dog. I think the way I see it is like Pero Malo in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and pretty much I like that callback, and I do like this cameo because it's not one you really expect, which I really like. It was a sort of a pleasant surprise. Well, not really pleasant, but it was more of a surprise at that, just a surprise.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the mess causes Frida to cry, and when Romeo shows up, she confesses it was Lalo who did the paintings because Frida had a painter's block. Fortunately, he said every artist goes through that, which makes sense considering artists do go through blocks. They don't really draw a lot. They had a lot of things to think about that they can't even draw really well. They need some time off, that kind of stuff. And the other thing too is that at least Romeo understands that she would actually give a break for her. Frida later actually does come with an idea for her art, which we'll talk about later. But how do you feel about this whole interaction here where Romeo actually confronts Frida and Frida doesn't have anything, and Frida pretty much confesses saying like, my dog did this, and the fact that Romeo is so forgiving that he would give Frida a break if she wanted a break?
Yeah, I really did like the fact that how Romeo was really cool with Frida even after Frida confessed and all that, because I think he understands like he understands artists so well that artists do tend to have artist block, like they lose their confidence, they overthink and all this stuff. Trust me, like I think like you and I have been through this too. We've had artist block too. We do our own fan art, so like we kind of been in her shoes. And like to all the fan artists in this chat, like don't lie to yourselves, you've been where Frida was at too. Okay, so pretty much like I do like the fact that the episode gives a clear message about how every artist does go through artist block. No artist is perfect, and all that stuff. Like it gives such a real and really cohesive message in the episode that it really does enhance the episode to be relatable to artists.
I do love the fact that like out of all the times Romeo actually did, forgive the fact that Frida definitely had artist block, that he actually would postpone Frida when it comes to, doing the art, considering that she was in artist block. So now that she had that relaxation, it just tells you that as artists, they understand each other. They understand that they need breaks. They need this kind of stuff, that kind of stuff to make sure that their artwork is going to become perfect the next time around. And it just tells me that Romeo is a really awesome guy, and that, Frida has an awesome person to actually rely on when it comes to artwork and stuff. So yeah, that I thought was awesome. Here's the thing though, that artist block, that artist break turned out to become very, short, considering that Frida actually did have an idea to actually get some art pieces. Frida would actually perform her abstract art live in an art gallery as a dog, thus making it an abstract and beautiful as when Lalo made up her art. So what are your thoughts on this ending here, where like Frida gets out of her artist block and dresses up as a dog and actually makes abstract art literally live in front of like the person who was judging?
Yeah, I really do like I really do like the fact that like Frida dressed up as a dog, because and then you see her like perform, and then you see her do the art in a dog style, because it's a kind of art that Frida was trying to do in the first place using Lalo. So if you're going to do dog art, why not just do it yourself with your own hand, or rather your own body and dog costume?
Yeah, and in the end, she ended up making some awesome pieces anyway. So yeah, either way, I think just feel like this is a very satisfying ending. The fact that Frida getting out of her art like funk by doing this kind of stuff definitely got her into getting back into artwork to say. So everybody deals with artist block somehow, some way, and in the end, they still end up making great artwork after the fact that they ended up getting a good idea and all.
Frida's a good girl. Who's a good girl? You're a good girl, Frida.
Yeah, I would say so too. And yeah, and no doubt about it, they definitely do like each other. Again, Lalo and Sergio are currently working together again. I'm guessing I guess it's going to be a business between the two of them, especially when it comes to art now.
Sergio out. Lalo, you're good.
And I thought we were thinking that Sergio was a really nice, bird and all, considering that he was the one who's trying to play fair, that Lalo was the one doing all the work, and that Sergio is being the mediator, saying like, hey, if you want Lalo to do all of this, you gotta let him do this and that. But then Sergio's also playing along too, and I'm like, okay, Sergio, yeah, you're being a dick again. I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah, it was too good to be true, honestly, at that point.
You said you once forgave him a little bit, then you said, oh no, forget it, because he's playing along again into Lalo's Lalo's deeds to say.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Not that much I want to see, except I want to see more Frida and Romeo. I also want to see more Frida's art life. But chances are we're gonna watch that in the Loud House. So yeah. Romeo, prepare to become a Loud House character.
Unfortunately, we have to see that. I mean, to be fair, if this is going to be the last like Frida art episode that we'll see in the Casagrandes, I definitely think that this is definitely one that really is stellar for her. I mean, there's that one episode like Nick's single, for example, where like she starts to get trendy, but then she's also getting distracted from her family life. This is kind of like a relatable episode for all artists, especially those who have artist block, because it also does happen a lot. That you might need to actually get somebody to help you out there, but you remember, like, people do need breaks when it comes to doing art. So it makes sense how in the end, even after all the things, all the funk that Frida had to go through, she still ended up having some great art in the end. And yeah, it just tells you like how great of a career Frida could be as an artist and all.
Yeah, trust me, we would know. We do fan art also, so
Exactly.
we've had artist spot too.
I swear to God, we need more callbacks. I mean, we do have Malo people back. I mean, we have Becky and Malo, for example, that actually get called back. And I'm like, I didn't expect them to come back at all. I didn't even expect Malo to come back at all. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I expected Becky, but like not so much Malo.
Yeah, because Malo was not a bad episode, but then yeah, Malo came back, and I guess the identity crisis still happens.
Definitely.
All right. Nothing else you want to bring up from this episode?
Nothing much I want to bring up, honestly.
All right. So how would you rate Salvador Doggy?
I would definitely rate this an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good Frida episode. Of course, Frida does go through this dilemma of having artist block, which every artist goes through this. So don't lie to yourself if you haven't been through it as an artist. I love the way how Lalo is willing to help her out, but then like Sergio comes in, and you think that he will be the voice of reason, but actually no, he actually turns out to be the voice of exploitation. And so of course you see Frida like being all tired and stuff. You see her pretty much getting so like stressed up to a point where it's like she's had enough, and then after many mistrials, many trials and misses, she then decides she wants Lalo back, and then later on things go wrong. It's like, and then it gives an important message about artists having artist block and then they need a break. So I like that.
I gotta say this though. I mean, this definitely is relatable to me. Just the fact that like I'm a person who likes fan art as well, but becoming so busy and being with a lot of things happening around my life, I just can't be able to actually work with art. So whenever I actually do have the free time to actually work on making pieces and stuff, I actually do get that artist block. It's kind of like, do I have to think about this right now? Oh, this is not going to work out for me, et cetera, et cetera. At least this, I just like the fact that like artist block is shown a lot in this episode, that like you need the break if you need to. And you don't need to get like another artist to come up and actually help you out with it, or else it's just going to go into a bad path. AKA what happened to Frida, for example, actually hiring Lalo and then having Sergio become his like businessman. And then of course it all fell down for Frida for sure. So yeah, I think lesson learned from this episode, take a break when it comes to artwork. And I thought this was just a good lesson for all of us to say. And also the fact that like Frida, out of all people, like I just feel like these episodes that we're reviewing has a lot of Frida expressions. And I swear to God, like, can we have more of that in this next coming Loud House Casagrandes episodes, of anything? But yeah, I would say really relatable episode. I enjoyed it a whole lot. I give this a 9 out of 10. If it wasn't for Sergio just becoming like that one person that kind of was the downer of the episode, it's the reason why I didn't give it a 10 to say. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Really good episode for Salvador Doggy. But yeah, I mean, to say the least, not bad of these last of these Casagrandes episodes. We do have 4 more Casagrandes episodes to review, which will be in 2 weeks. So get ready for those coming up. But that's pretty much it for us on our episode reviews for this Wednesday, for this episode reviews podcast. I guess I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, thank you all for checking out the stream. Remember that you can check out to our Loudcast Talks podcast on all podcast providers: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Our Loudcast Talks podcast will be there. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the red button, and also hit the bell to be notified when it will be live for our next Loudcast Talks episode or episode reviews. And also, if you're watching on Twitch, make sure you also follow our Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/Loudcast Talks. And then, yeah, just follow us, and then you'll be notified when it will come on. We plan to be on Twitch every Wednesday for the Loudcast Talks, so it'll be awesome if you actually follow along too. So every Wednesday we'll always be here live. So yeah, come on by. And just a heads up, we have new Loud House episodes to review next week. So next Wednesday we'll be back here where we'll be reviewing new episodes of the Loud House. Sorry, I gotta go to my listings to tell you which episodes we're gonna be reviewing. We're gonna be reviewing Puns and Buns. That's right. Puns and Buns, Food Courting, Lights, Camera, Nuclear Reaction, and Save Lance Pants. So those are the 4 episodes we're reviewing for the Loud House. So hopefully you guys be able to check that out.
Yeah, so get ready for that, Loud Crown of Casagrandes. Definitely. Yeah, it's been really fun talking about these Casagrandes episodes with you, especially when we had a treasure trove, and I mean a treasure trove
Yeah,
of
I
Frida
would say this.
expressions.
I would
Frida
say
expressions.
this definitely was, I think, like one of our best like episodes to review for the Casagrandes. I think most of us have us like give us like 9 out of 10 for these episodes. So yeah, it was pretty good. These at least last couple episodes have been pretty good, and now the show's about to go to its final kind of episode. So we're almost there, guys. We're almost there to the end. I don't know what'll happen. I just hope the Casagrandes end out on a good note.
Please end on a good note. Please end on a good note.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for us here. Thank you all for checking out our stream. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. It's definitely good to be back after 2 weeks. This time we're all in a good mood and all this stuff, but we all got some good vibes here. So thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, smell you later, Casa Crew.